Some candidates have repeatedly claimed that personhood bills would, quote, outlaw most forms of contraception and, quote, make the pill illegal. I am an attorney, and I know that these statements are not only untrue, they are so verifiably false as to be beyond genuine debate. Terry McAuliffe also has a law degree, and he should know this too. These claims are simply another case of gender baiting. Neither the 2007 nor the 2012 personhood bill says anything about contraception. Under the Due Process Clause, criminal laws must give clear notice of what behavior is prohibited. The General Assembly simply cannot criminalize conduct using a law that is not a criminal law and doesn't mention any behavior. And even if Virginia wanted to criminalize contraception, this is simply not an option to the states under current case law. Women should not be told that it is. In 1989, the U.S. Supreme Court rejected a challenge to Missouri's personhood law in a case called Webster versus Reproductive Health Services. The court explicitly rejected the very argument that the Democrats are now making and found that states could properly use this type of law to express their regard for human life. The language of the most recent Virginia personhood bill actually mirrors that Missouri law. By virtue of its own wording, it would not interfere with Supreme Court precedent or existing statutory law in Virginia, which specifically permits abortion. The Democratic candidates and certain reporters either haven't done their homework or they are intentionally misleading voters. Women in Missouri are still obtaining abortions, they are still using oral contraception, and they are still receiving in vitro fertilization. Ralph Northam, the Democratic candidate for lieutenant governor, has repeatedly made the false claim that the personhood measure would criminalize in vitro fertilization. But as a member of the Senate Education and Health Committee, which heard hours of testimony on this bill, Senator Northam must be aware that the bill has a provision explicitly stating that it cannot be interpreted to interfere with assisted conception, or IVF. Either Senator Northam did not read the legislation, or he is misleading Virginia voters. The Democrats have distracted women from what would have been the actual effect of the personhood bill. It would have given parents the ability to recover damages in a civil lawsuit if their unborn child were killed by the wrongful act of a third party. This was the effect of the law in Missouri decades ago, and it would have been the effect of the Virginia law as well. There are reasonable, well-meaning people on both sides of the abortion debate in Virginia, but we cannot have an intelligent, fruitful policy discussion when certain politicians choose to hide the ball and distort the legitimate issue rather than simply express their own views in a respectful manner.